afternoon everyone again. I'm DJ Sean and welcome through to another X-Plane stream. Getting a lot of X-Plane done today, which is really good. So today, and I do apologise quickly, this mic here is my boom mic. Being in VR means that I am a little bit restricted in the mics that I have to use, so I do apologise straight off the bat for my shocking mic quality. So if you haven't seen me before, welcome. I'm DJ Sean. I am a charity streamer, which means I do this to make and raise money for charity, with 100% of your donation going through to our charity for this month, which is all about the Cancer Council, which is an Australian charity that help families and individuals who are going through the journey, which is fighting cancer. So we've totally smashed our goal there of $100, and we're on our way, well on our way to $150, with that donation going straight through to charity at the end of the month. So what we are doing today is we are sitting here in the Zibo 737 again, one of the all-time favourite free aircraft you can get for X-Plane. We're sitting here on the Gold Coast, so for anyone that knows Coolangatta or the Gold Coast here in Australia, it's a very popular tourist destination. And if you come back here, you can see this strip is just up here on the right hand side where most of the buildings are. So it is about a 35 minute drive in traffic up to the Gold Coast per se, whereas here it's obviously the airport's right next to the beach, but having flown, when I used to live in Melbourne, flown into the Gold Coast, you get in a taxi and then it's a good 25-30 minute hike up to the Gold Coast, which you can see up the end there. So the airport of the Gold Coast actually spans across both New South Wales and Queensland. It's on the border of the two states, which is very interesting. The freeway you can see along the back here actually snakes through the bottom here of the end runway, and you switch over to New South Wales from Queensland to my right on this road just here. So it's kind of cool. I think, and someone will have to fact check me there, but I actually think you touch down on the left runway here. I think you touch down in New South Wales and you roll through to Queensland. So I guess you could say somewhat you've driven to Queensland, but when you've really flown. So our flight today will take us down to Sydney. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys the route real quick so you can see what we're going to be doing. There we go. So where are we? That guy just there. I'll put him out there a little bit. So this, we're obviously up here, so I'll turn our little sensor on so you can see us. We should have a little arrow pop up. There we go. So here is Australia, and we can't forget New Zealand. New Zealand don't like it when we forget those guys. So the route we're doing is just down the eastern coast here of Australia, from the Gold Coast through to Sydney. And if you haven't heard much about Australia, no doubt you would have heard of Sydney. So it's not a very long flight, and I'll go through that in a few minutes when we go through the flight plan here. So it's just tracking to the south and down into Sydney. Alrighty, so let's have a little look at the flight plan for our flight today. So here it is, just here. Got lots of alt-tabbing to do. Alrighty, so we're going to be operating, and we are on VATSIM today. So before I get into the plan, we're on VATSIM. We're in the Zibo 737 on X-Plane 11.25, and we're also trying a new weather engine I got. For some reason, I can't get the NOAA plugin working. It just doesn't work. Yeah, I've tried and I've given up. The default weather is okay, and I'm quite happy to go back to that. But I've seen a lot of reviews about the FS Global Real Weather plugin, and I did see a couple of other streamers using it, and they seem to be going pretty well with it. So I thought, oh well, we'll give it a shot. So this is the maiden flight of that weather plugin. So we'll see how we go with it for now. And look, worst case scenario, it doesn't work too well, we can just switch back to the weather. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is look at the plan. So we're going to be operating at velocity at 524 from the Gold Coast through to Sydney. I'll just chuck you over there. On the 18th of August, so our trip time, we've got an hour and 18 minutes on the cruise. It's going to require 3.5 tonnes of fuel. We've got an 8-minute contingency, which the plan's given us. Don't need to worry about destination weather. Our alternate, we're carrying an alternate for Canberra because the weather in Sydney is deteriorating a little bit. Or it was first glance that I had a bit of a look at it. So we're carrying an extra 35 minutes to blast us to Canberra, and our Canberra is just a little bit further south than Sydney. We don't have to worry about the alternate weather. The fixed reserve, it's given us a standard fixed reserve there of 30 minutes. So the minimum required is 6.8 tonnes. Now, given that we are on VATSIM and without any ATC on, we're actually doing a lot of the traffic separation ourselves. So sometimes there'll be two people coming in for the one runway rather than work it out with the other pilot. If I can't reach him, or I can reach him, we'll slow up and maybe we'll slot in behind, or we'll do a hold or something like that to make sure that we obviously don't hit each other. And I always like to carry 30 minutes of extra holding fuel just for that reason. So we're going to be taking off with 7.7 tonne plus our taxi fuel, which will burn off in the taxi. We should be sitting here in the ramp with about 7.9 tonnes, which we are. So looking at our weights now for the aircraft, we've got a zero fuel weight of 55.1 tonnes, plus the fuel on board minus the taxi gives us a takeoff weight of 62.8 tonnes. With the fuel burning off, we'll be landing with 59. Our landing weight will be 59.3. So our takeoff weight, we've got 62.8. Our maximum landing weight is 66.3 in this aircraft, or 66.4, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we are doing the takeoff briefing or the departure briefing, because that's a really important number to remember. Okay, and by the time we get to the destination, we want to have about 4 tonnes on board. So we're taking a lot of fuel down to Sydney with us, but it is VATSIM and the weather is not so great, so we like to carry the extra fuel so we've got some time. Okay, looking at our shear rates, so this is how bumpy basically it will be in cruise. When this number is greater than 6, it means that we're going to potentially have some fairly substantial or severe over and underspeed events, which means it gets pretty bumpy. It's 5, so we're anticipating a relatively smooth flight. We're up to flight level 380, and the wind in Australia is absolutely nuts at the moment. The wind up at that altitude is 255 degrees at 101 knots over 200 kilometers per hour. Alright, we've got our alternate summary, so if we do have to go to Canberra, we've got our alternate there, but we've also got some other alternates there for Melbourne and for Brisbane should we need it. We've got some contingency there which we don't really need to worry about going through. Our route, so runway 32, will be on this departure to Apagi, then we'll be jumping on the H62 jet airway to Corky, then H14 to Boree. From Boree we jump on the Boree 8 Alpha into Sydney, potentially runway 34 right. The distance for this trip today is 436 miles. We have a flight, as we said, a cruise level of 38,000 feet. And this information is the information that we'll put in the box when we go to configure the FMC. So we'll go through that in a little bit later. Our spot wind data, this stuff's really important for just confirming that the winds we're getting in the sim or real world are matching the chart, because a lot of the fuel planning for this flight plan will be done based off those winds. More importantly, especially for the Zibo 737, is the need for descent winds. So you'll see me put those in as part of the pre-flight, so the aircraft knows what winds it's going to have for the descent phase of the flight, which is really important when it's going to calculate its top of descent. Don't need to worry about EDTO distances. This is the flight plan, so you've got your time between waypoints and then your time remaining on the plan, and then the fuel overhead that waypoint we can use to cross-reference. That's our alternate, don't need to worry about. Okay, so the weather. So we're here in the Gold Coast, so the time is 04:55 Zulu. So a little bit old, this weather now. Ooh. Really old. What's the date today? The 18th. going to double check that weather. 1 second, guys. So YBCG, here we go. Can I put this, let me just see if I can put this window up on you guys here for a sec. So what have we got? FS Global Weather, does that show up? Yeah, it does, beautiful. Okay, so I've just put some weather in here. So the latest weather we've got is the there we go, 18,436 Zulu. So I don't know what the plan was doing there. That was quite weird. But 040 at 10 knots. That's something we're probably going to want to remember. What are we? Velocity 524 and 040 at 10. So 040 at 10. The visibility is good. The sky condition is clear. It's 22 degrees with a dew point of 9, so it's rather nice and warm here at the moment. And the QNH is 1012. Alrighty, let's have a look at Sydney now. Okay, so that must have been going off really old weather. That's okay. So we've got 280 at 23, gusting 33. So the wind is quite full on there in Sydney. Again, good visibility. Sky conditions clear, so the weather is good down the coast there. It's 23 degrees down there, so it's warmer there, and the QNH is 1006. Let's just check out Canberra while we're there. Yeah, so the weather actually looks worse than our alternate. That's okay. That's no problem. Alrighty, so let's turn you off. And we might just do is rename that.
Just landed at Brizzy, 3.5 hours. That's so quick.
Yeah, wow, from Perth.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Okay, so continuing on, well, that weather is completely useless. The wind there is, sorry for the sideways sort of view here, guys. We might go to the next chart there, 350. So we've got no turbulence there, and there's 390. So you can see we're going to be fighting a slight headwind on the way down. We start from up here and work our way down with this route inland, and then come into Sydney from here. Alrighty, well that is the plan. So what we'll do is we'll turn that plan off there. And I'll just chuck that in there. What I might do real quick here is... What I want to do, I want you... Oh. There we go. Let's just bring up the Navigraph charts here for a second. Let's view charts for the Gold Coast. Taxi... Here we go. So that's going to be 60, that's going to be 100, so yeah, still runway 32. Yeah, Brisbane Centre is on 133. There we go, we've got Brisbane Centre online as well.
Appreciate the visual for 34 left if available.
Okay, so we'll be using runway 32, so we'll take that one to Sydney.
8122, copy, expect tracking item. Yeah, cleared the Marlin at 3 arrival, runway 34 left.
Okay.
Marlin 3 arrival, runway 34 left, and set 8122.
We can turn that off now. Alrighty, so we're back on the deck here. So what we want to do now is do a quick pre-flight checklist. Check. We had 1010, 1010, that one, 101, it's 1012, sorry. Alrighty, we'll do a pre-flight checklist, so charts, 73 checklist. Okay, so the pre-flight checklist is oxygen 100%, just both sides, navigation, transfer and display switches. These guys here are all normal and auto.
A visual circuit, that should be right.
The window heat is the 4 green switches on the bottom there, they are on. Pressurization mode selector is auto, so that's that guy down there. And when I check that, I also check our pressurization panel, which I've got 38,000 feet and 50 feet for our arrival into Sydney. The flight instruments, so we're checking heading on both sides, which is before we get to that, we need to get the nav aligned. So get rid of that for now. We're in Sydney, YSSY. So 33, 56, 7, 151, 2809, 153. So it's found us a little bit slightly different to that, which is good because we're not going to be at the exact position. Whoop! No, that's incorrect. We're not in Sydney. Why? That was a bigger change than I thought there would be. So 2898, 153. 2899, 153.30. That's better. Okay, so continuing with the plan now. Just there.
When ready to send flight level 250,
Okay. So heading 050, heading 050, and QNH 1012, 1012, and 1012.
Romeo Juliet Bravo descent 5.
Parking brake is set and start levers are cut off. Pre-flight checklist complete. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and chuck in the plan here. So it's going to be the Gold Coast to Sydney. We are velocity 524, BOZ 524. Yeah, we definitely are. We're going from Ool to Sid 1. Activate runway 32. Departure is going to be the Apagi. Execute. Legs.
Just 411 setting Alpha 2.
Okay, that's what we want.
Star 411 continue descent 29,000.
Gold Coast is a bit of an odd position. The approaches take you out, and the departures take you out again and back in. So it's interesting. It's all about noise abatement and getting the aircraft away from the strip, which is where you saw the buildings when we were doing our first look at the Gold Coast. That can be pretty busy along there. So they like to get the aircraft away from. This is where we're going to bring up the plan here.
Romeo Juliet Bravo, please wait control airspace descending by visual approach for runway 29.
Bring that guy up here. So looking at this is the section we want to pay attention to now. Hey Daz, how you going? So the zero fuel weight is 55.1. We have reserves of 2.8. We have a cost index of 20. We're going up to flight level 380 today. The weather up there is 255/101. And I'm going to fact check that because I'm not trusting those numbers. Standard Cooley scenery. I think I got the VOS scenery, the VOS pack, which includes the Gold Coast, mate. And I had to fix it up. I had a whole bunch of VOS stuff that was missing. So I don't know how that stopped working, but it did. Good old X-plane. Negative 47. Top climb, outside air. There we go. So it's 23. So it's slash 23 for the D rate. We won't do a D rate out of here, so we are quite heavy. So we won't do a D rate in the climb either. So we'll just go max power out. 5 on the flaps there, and we want 4.7 on the trim. Kiefer, how you going, buddy? Yeah, back for it again, buddy. This time in daylight. How nice is it to actually be in daylight? Eddie had 227 requesting emergency takeoff, please. Devastator, how you going, buddy? So yes, for those of you joining us, we are here on the Gold Coast, which is a very popular tourist destination here on VATSIM. So what I'll do is I'll quickly zoom this out so you guys can have a bit of a look. And let me just turn off the flight plan there for a second. So this is the Gold Coast Airport just behind me here. So as you can see, the Gold Coast is a very, very pretty part of southeast Queensland. So there's the airport just here. We've got the strip, which you can see some buildings just up in the up there. The airport is actually on the border of New South Wales and Queensland. Queensland's where I live. I'm about 45-50 minutes from the Gold Coast. I'm further north, so to get to the airport it's about an hour for me down this freeway just at the back here. And you actually cut over to New South Wales here. There's signs just here, and as you go under the threshold of this runway, you're actually in New South Wales. So there's a nice open joke there about touching down in New South Wales and rolling through to Queensland, which is very true for this airport. We are in the Zibo 737, one of my favourite aircraft to fly here, obviously in the Virgin colours as always. Kiefer, this is the aircraft we were flying from Hobart to Melbourne into Canberra last night. Some traffic going down that freeway by the looks of it out the back there. Alrighty, so we're on VATSIM, we are online, and we're just plugging stuff into the plan here. So what we'll do is get set up. What does it want there for that heading? 304. Okay. Alrighty, so we want flight director my side, flight director that side, we want 304.
And all stations in that Sydney, just updated weather forecast. Winds now 27029, gusting 40 knots.
Gusting
1007.
40 knots, so that's where we're headed for Sydney. So the wind has swung around 270, 20 knots, gusting 40, so it's gusting 80 k's an hour. It's going to be an interesting approach.
8122, just another update.
Okay, so
the crosswind on runway 24 will be 32 knots a crosswind from the
32 knots a crosswind. He's not going to. They're not going to be able to. If they were half the pilot, I think they should be able to accept that. The time in my city right now is 8 minutes past 3 in the afternoon.
Just 51410, right heading 075.
Okay, so we want
Right heading 075, just 514.
5145.
Just 411 decent 8000.
145 on you.
And we just got 8,000 just
We'll go to 5, hasn't cleared us out. That one down that side. Saturday, A-firm, yes, Saturday. Oh, what are we doing with that? Chuck that just there. Okay. I think we're pretty good here, so we cruise 0.781, that's fine.
Another Charlie Yankee, apologies left. Extended airspace, monitoring Unicom 122, decimal 8
Get rid
control.
of those for a second. So we want 0.78 on the descent and /280. Forecast, these are the winds that we're going to put in, which is down here. So we want 300. You're very welcome, Kiefer. What time is it where you are? 2:57 at 107.
Another Charlie
07.
Juliet, Echo Foxtrot,
220.
Good. Okay,
It
contract track was a slight mistake, but I was
61
going to
at
call you anyway.
53,
Before we
261, that's a pretty big drop off.
Juliet, Echo
And
Foxtrot.
150 is going to be 269 at 25.
Brisbane, Romeo, Juliet, Bravo, going
at
down Archfield.
25. 10 PM Friday night. Nice. Well, it's been a nice little late stream for
Bravo,
you.
Archfield, Starlight.
Okay, landing with 5.5, which is above what we've got in the plan. That's fine there. Alrighty. Where have we got here? Let's put that is there. Okay, well, I think we're ready for a departure brief. So let's turn you off. Let's get the charts out. And have a bit of a look-see here. Is that a bit better? Those charts are getting cut off a little bit. Let me just fix those charts up for us guys for a second. For some reason they're getting cut off. So right. better, isn't it? The chart's a bit stuffed up there. So. Good. Right. There we go. Okay, so we are on the deck on the Gold Coast here, which you can see just here. Let's do a bit of a departure brief. So we've reviewed the weather for both our departure and our arrival. There's no notices that we notice to airmen or NOTAMs that we need to worry about. The pushback orientation for the aircraft is going to be a tail left nose right orientation, which we've already told the pit crew boys we're going to do. So our taxi route is we're going to be starting here in the Echo Pier, so we'll jump down here onto Charlie.
Melbourne Foxtrot 06 valid from 0400 to 0800. Moderate to severe turbulence 7 to 8,000 feet and below.
Remember that was from Melbourne on to Sydney. So we'll be down here onto Kilo, where we'll, or the far end on Charlie, and we'll blast. Actually, we won't be on Kilo. We'll be on Charlie, and we'll blast off for runway 32. There's no contamination on the runway. It's not wet. The weather is good here. We're doing a flaps 5 takeoff with no derate, so maximum power takeoff to get us out of the Gold Coast here. The departure we have got this afternoon is the Apagi 4 departure, which is chart 10-3 Alpha, effective the 1st of March. It calls for a climb out on heading 334, which we'll quickly set there. At 700 feet or above, which we've got set here, we do a right-hand turn to Stimp. We've got a speed restriction of a maximum 220 knots here in the climb until Stimp, so we need to be mindful of that, and we can see that in the box just to the left with the 220B. From there it's heading 145 to Mikus at or above 6,000, which we've also got there, and then it's a nice severe right-hand turn to Apagi and then plan route. So, one thing we haven't got set is navigation aids, which I've now got set 1, 1, 2, 3, which we've got set there. Alrighty, so looking at the chart here, we've got a once we do get airborne, actually before we even get airborne, so sorry guys, I should know all this off by heart. Onto the runway, guys, we'll be taking off together. So guys on the stream, if you see anything during the takeoff roll that you don't like, call it out. I'll have a quick read and assess whether we need to abort or not. So from anything up to 80 knots, shout it out. And if it's something I think worthy, we'll abort. From 80 knots to V1, I'm only going to abort for an engine failure or loss of control of the aircraft. From V1 and onwards, we take the problem into the sky. Now, when we look at this, we can see that the lowest safe out to the right, where it's all ocean, is 3,000 feet, whereas if we turn left, we've got to worry about 4,000 feet, we've got to worry about 5,100 feet because of the terrain that's left at the airfield. So we're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that we turn right, and we'll just go around and do a right-hand circuit and come straight back onto the approach for runway 32. The weather's really good here. We'll just do a visual approach and land the aircraft. Alrighty, so the terrain, like I spoke about, there's terrain off to the left-hand side and behind us here. There's nothing too, it's nothing too high. We'll just be mindful of it. There's no tower controller, ground controller, or clearance controller here on the Gold Coast. I prefer the following takeoff brief. Hold on to your hats, boys. Well, Daz, I take that same principle and I build on it. So we've got a center controller, so we'll...
Information Bravo's now from Dallas approach runway 25, winds 27029, gusts 40, visibility greater than 10 kilometers, showers in the vicinity, cloud a few 4,000, scattered 7,000, rocket 9,000, temperature 19, 2-inch 1007, wind shear warning, undershoot wind shear reported at 500 feet, runway 25, on first contact with Sydney notify receipt of Bravo.
Wow. So they're getting wind shear alerts down there in Sydney now. So the weather is deteriorating like I thought, which is fantastic. That's the weather we want to fly into.
300, just off 514.
Emirates 420, requesting flight attendants to meet me in the back of the A380. Is that where the crew rest is? I thought the crew rest was up the front in the A380. Anyway, alrighty, so we've done our briefing. We know that the weather's going to get worse in Sydney, so we're going to prepare for that. One of the things, real quick, is we have no controller here in Gold Coast, so we'll contact Central and do an all stations call and get our clearance probably when we're taxiing or just after we get airborne. Alrighty guys, well I think it's now time to jump into VR and get started, so let's go do that.
147,260.
Let's close you.
Was that for just off 514?
Get these guys cranking.
Just 514 AFM, left heading 260. On that heading, make a pilot intercept to the runway 25, localize that report established.
Okay.
Roger that, that's heading 260 and orbit when established onto the...
And here we go to VR.
Localizer 25.
Just 411 descent.
Inset 8122 has flight level 300.
Inset 8007.
Yep.
330. Ready, maintaining flight level 330.
Alrighty guys, I am back, and I just realised I didn't put my rudder pedals where they need to go. So let's do that real quick. And pull ourselves back. We need to go here. Ooh, we are right in the back in the seat.
Just 411, reduce speed 20.
There we go.
30 and on, just 411.
Alrighty, let's get started.
Prison Center, good evening, UPS 5, 2690 Omega, Sydney, Hong Kong.
UPS 526 heavy, Brisbane Center, g'day, and runway 25 is currently active. Is that a runway you can accept for your prior runway 34?
Standby one, we'll check,
Alrighty.
Running 160.
Get some stuff into VR here.
Running 160, just 411.
Twitch.
In Brisbane, UPS 526, we're gonna have to take 34 for departure.
We'll chuck you just there.
UPS 526 copies. Understood.
I don't need to worry about anything else.
Standby for clearance. That shortly.
Plugins, AviTab, toggle, there we go. Alrighty, we want to do a charts checklist, plus you up there. Okay, so we want the before start checklist. Okay, so fuel, we've got 7.8 tons, all pumps are on, centers not required, the passenger signs are on. Devastator. The windows are locked, my side locked, your side. MCP, we've got heading at 1 speed 145, which is V2, heading 334, the initial heading in 5,000. The takeoff speeds we've got is 133, 135, 145, 145. City pre-flight completed. Trim is free and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing has been completed to the line. Below the line is the flight deck door is closed and locked, and the anti-collision light is on. Before start checklist complete.
UPS 526 clearance speed Hong Kong via Richmond.
Actually, I don't know why I just turned all that off. Let's just go there before taxi and chuck you up there. Okay, so we want ground services, better pushback and request pushback. We'll get some loading
Yeah, ground to cockpit. So it's driving up right now.
Here he comes.
Just climb 9,000 departure, 34 left on the Sydney 14163 and departures with you.
He's like, screw the fence.
You can 26 heavy. Just F114, wind 27029, gust 40, runway 25, speed land.
Runway 25 cleared for landing, Jetstar 5410.
Jetstar 411, descend to 3000.
And 3,000, and that was Jetstar 411. Sorry, that was Jetstar 411.
411. Speed ILS, runway 25.
Oh, that's
Alright, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
You are clear to connect.
And direct to TSAT. Expect vectors for the ILS, runway 3 to the left.
Tracking direct from calling direct CSAT and expecting the vectors, the 3 call left from there. MC8122.
There's a lot of traffic going into Sydney this afternoon. It's the same aircraft we are there. The 737-800, but I think ours looks far better than that one over there.
Got us 418.
So connected and bypass been inserted. Release the parking brake when you're ready.
Brake released.
Alright, starting the pushback, and you may spool them. Clear to start engines.
The blackout.
Alright, off we go. See you later, guys.
Runway 01.
Alright, start procedure is 2, then 1. Let's start 2. First flight. Packs off. And starting 2.
Expect to blackout 1 alpha arrival, runway 101 in use, and when we descend flight level 250, contact 1 gate.
Juliet Echo Foxtrot, the lead control airspace descending, are reported IFR traffic, QH1012.
And at 25, in comes the fuel.
Fully controlled area on ascent of no traffic, Juliet Echo, Foxtrot 1012, yep.
Start a cutout. Looks like a good start on 2. We'll start 1.
Full station Sydney information chart is now current at changes, winds 250, 32, gusting 48 knots.
Gusting 48 knots. The international landed with a rate of 0. Project Flight 2, seriously. It's gusting 48 knots down there, guys. It's almost gusting 100 k's an hour with the airport that we're flying to. This is going to be interesting.
Alright, mate. Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Parking brake set, mate.
Alright, mate. Disconnecting toes. Stand by.
Thanks, mate. So that was starting cutout.
Brisbane Center, UPS 526, heavy international cargo apron, stamp 5, requesting pushback and start.
And that looks like a good start on
UPS
1.
526, heavy pushback and start
Flaps 5.
UPS 526.
Click. Alrighty.
Jetstar 514 vacate 251 Alpha and request taxi to gate Alpha 52.
Jetstar 5414, Fox runway 34 left at Alpha.
So is disconnected. 5 past 10 is removed. Thumbs up on the left and catch you next time. Have a safe flight.
Thanks, buddy. See you next time. Alrighty,
Jet
before taxi
554,
checklist.
can you please repeat that?
Generators are on,
Jet
propane
554,
is on,
crash runway
ATS
34
is not
left,
required,
taxi
isolation valve is auto, engine start switches are continuous, recoil has been
Roger,
checked, auto brake is RTO, engine start lever is
434
idle
left, taxi off,
descent,
and
flight
taxi
controls
to
have been checked, and dispatch clearance.
Jetstar
Not
411,
yet.
runway 25, winds 2503.
Thanks, buddy.
48.
Is checked.
Right, 25, good line, Jetstar 4.
Alrighty, let's go. You off,
Brisbane
you
312,
off.
8122.
Ansett 8122.
Clear now the left.
We would like to request a change of arrival runway to runway 25 in light with the increase in wind.
Ansett 8122, copy. Expect vectors for the AUS runway 25.
Just check, what do we got here?
Yeah, vectors for the ILS 25, Ansett 8122.
Melbourne Centre and all stations, Gold Coast, Velocity 524, taxis runway 32, Gold Coast.
Velocity 524, Brisbane City, good afternoon, it's score 4160, reported IFR traffic, report at the holding point.
4164, velocity 90, velocity 524. 4164. We're going to call him at the holding point. I think I was a little bit high there. What are all these landing? Project Flybot, I update you and this is what you do to me.
Just 41H, approaching level 250 for continued descent.
450, descent to flight level 150.
To flight level 150, just 41H.
Cabin's ready, flaps fire, green light, and trim is set. Before takeoff checklist, it's flaps is 5 and green light, stabilizer trim is 4.8 units set. Before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, so we want to stay on Charlie, so we take the very end one. That's Kilo just there. We want to take Charlie.
Brisbane Center UPS 526 Heavy, Charlie, landing taxi.
UPS 57, you after the full length of runway 34 left at office.
Alright, jump on the brakes here.
Okay, taxi Alpha 4834 left to, sorry, UPS 526.
Jetstar 411, turn right on Golf, cross runway 34 left, taxi to the bay.
Golf cross 34 left to the bay, Jetstar 4.
Center velocity 524 at holding point runway 32. Ready.
Response speed for Odyssey by the Apache for departure from runway 32, climb to 8,000, report airborne.
Go the Apache for departure, climb to 8,000, we'll call you airborne, velocity 524. It's cleared us to 8,000.
Ansett 8122, turn
Alrighty, let's get going.
Hitting 8122.
Ding the crew. Terrain my side, weather your side. You go up there. Oops, terrain my side, weather your side. Let's go. Clear left. We got nothing there, do we? No. Clear right. Alrighty guys, on the stream, here we go. Let's go get airborne. left a bit right center line, but that's okay. Alright, let's get going. Up to 40%. It's coming up together, looking good. Let's go. Bit of forward pressure. It's alive.
80 knots.
Check.
V1, rotate.
So,
Positive rate.
the brake gear up.
$400.
400.
Regional Center, UPS 25 enough.
EVS 576, crush runway 25 and out.
1000.
UPS 5. But that's all looking like a good 150.
On a 418, descend 9000, Brisbane QNH 1012.
Descending 8,000, you can actually 1012418.
Center velocity 524, we're airborne through 2000 for 8000.
Velocity 524, center. Continue climb to 8,000, you're identified.
8000 velocity, 524.
Qantas 418, just confirm that descent was in 9,000. Transit AU123D 5,000.
Julie Echo Foxtrot is ready for the approach at Zero Golf for the RNF 32.
Juliet Echo Foxtrot, now reported I-5 traffic or descent via the RNAV runway 32.
For the RNF 32, Julie Echo Foxtrot.
After takeoff checklist, engine bleeds are on, packs on, landing gear is up and off, and flaps are up. No ones. 380 velocity 524. Command A. Ooh, going up fast. 380 set. We'll do direct to mix. Oh, whoops. We're gonna go to
And at A122, I'm gonna 21 turn right, heading 210, taking right.
well, we're gonna go. It just told us to go straight to a party, so we'll do that anyway from our current heading. LNAV, VNAV. There's the airport. It looks really pretty. See you later, Queensland. Okay, the standard, off and off. We'll release the crew. Okay, begin our acceleration through 10,000 feet, and we'll go to weather now as well.
Brisbane Center, UPS 5, left, really good.
Ooh,
UPS 5.
someone descending in over there.
Heavy 34 left, 1 and west.
Medical 834 left, 2 goes back.
8122 expects further descent short.
Copy, 123.
Left 418 decent at 7 yeah.
Now Sean, does this sim game with the VR, is that the closest it gets to real flight? Yeah, DJ Kiva, this is probably as close as you can get now.
Qantas 418
it's pretty
business
realistic. I got rid of everything I need to
Because
say.
418, overhead.
There's you.
Qantas 418 decent to 7,000.
Yeah, this is about as close as it will get.
You said 7,000.
Kiefer, this, I think anyway, I'm happy to be proved otherwise, but I think X-Plane, especially with the satellite terrain downloaded, that looks pretty good to me. And I think once you get used to how light these things are, when you're flying with your controls, I think it's pretty good. Being able to grab the throttles and the yoke, I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to track inland here, and then we'll go down the coast pretty much parallel, but just inland down the coast. Alright, so that wind is looking about right for our plan. Yeah, Kiefer, it's pretty decent, I've got to admit.
And at 8122 on that heading, you'll be able to intercept on localizer for runway 25, report established on the localizer.
Plans, we're going from Gold Coast to Sydney.
Copy, well, we've set the localizer and report established 8122.
We've seen this before. So climb through 150, we're looking at 262 at 32 knots, 259 at 54, we're a little bit higher. At 22, that was going to go up to 72. Come on. Ooh, I think that's a weather update. Whew. So 257 at 71. So yeah, as we climb up here, that wind's only going to get higher. So that looks like it's right. So it looks like that's doing a good job there. This is the new weather system I'm using.
Runway 3 left, cleared for takeoff, crosswind up to 36 knots from the left.
36 knots, Jesus.
Clear for takeoff, 3-4 left for the winds, and are we cool?
We'll let the crew up, sorry, let the packs up. You go off.
UPS 536, 5 runway heading, straight ahead initially.
UPS 526, we're rolling.
Okay. So, let's have a bit of...
That's 1218, approaching 7,000.
Qantas 418, descend to
Custom
4,000.
data, charts, Sydney,
4,000, Qantas 418.
Ori 8, Alpha arrival, I think is the one we'll get.
81 at 22, descend to
So we come from
3,000 now.
Borlo,
Just shot through the
Becklow,
local right
Ori,
25.
Suolis, and then something else happens. Actually, if we're using
right,
runway
25,
25, it
then
might not be that one, it might be the...
81 22, sorry, maybe.
Papa?
I just love it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the Papa. He's going to get us to Erdon,
sorry,
and then he's going to
again,
give us a vector round to runway 25, which will be coming down here and into the sky just here.
If you are already established or not.
What do we got here?
Localizer,
The ILS
just before we pull
approach.
this, actually,
In decent at 3,000, in fact you clear the ILS
Airport,
from
yeah, if we
25
zoom you in
approach.
here. So runway 25 is the
3,000
sky just
through the
here.
ILS,
So we'll come in here. We won't pull up on Charlie or Bravo. We'll probably get off here on Alpha, turn right, jump onto Golf, and come back here. We're at domestic 3. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Just realised I don't see any approaches for runway 25 there in my list.
UPS
We'll deal with it.
526, verify.
Sorry, say again for 526?
UPS 526, zero identified, verify level.
We're currently passing 3,004.
Just watching you, this is amazing as well. You're giving us a great
UPS
details on the
526,
whole
climb
operation, how these
to
great
flight
airplanes.
level
Very informative. Oh, you're very
340.
welcome, buddy.
Make left tack direct to Richmond, resume navigation.
I find that rather than just sitting here and doing it,
Richmond, level 340, zoom on now.
I think sitting here and talking it through actually reinforces it in my mind as well, so I really do enjoy it. I just wish more people would focus, and I'd love to help more people. I don't know how some of those guys get 150 viewers or 100 viewers. They've got great personalities, don't get me wrong, but you look at technically the way they fly the aircraft, you're like, oh, you're doing a couple of crazy things there, buddy, but still, they make up for it with great personalities, and they're really nice guys, most of them, so that's probably what it is.
And 81 to 22, crossing up to Richmond, shooting across.
Oh, that scenery looks good.
25032, custom 48.
So Kiefer, just for your knowledge, that's all satellite data, so obviously subject to drought and seasonal, that looks at pretty much how it looks.
That's 418, 4,000.
So Australia's not as barren as everyone thinks it is.
The AUS from 01, the AUS from 01.
Yeah, for our approximately 01, we've got on final, got us 480.
I have no use for this other than the weight and balance and the ground services. That's all use I've got for that.
And Brisbane 7
Sure. You'll get the viewers going.
Yeah,
fingers crossed, Kiefer. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's pretty. I feel like I just want to grab that handle and pull myself up. I guess I can pretend like I'm grabbing it and then, ooh. There's that checklist that I pulled out the other night. There it is right there. Oh no. Oh no, no, I don't want to do that again. Oh shit. Can I go back? Fuck it. Believe it or not, that handle is for when the flight crew get in here and they want to pull the seat forward on the rails. They grab that and they pull the seat forward. Damn it. It's back. I thought there was a little clicky thing. Oh, hang on, I'll put you there, maybe you there. Hey, that's it, got it. Hey, TV, it is a weather engine, or weather plug-in for X-Plane to put in the real world weather. I can't get the NOAA plugin working, the NOAA plugin working, so I'm using that one. X-Plane Weather default weather that it uses to download is okay, but I thought I'd try something else. So far so good, it's given me the winds that I want. Let's just get the plan back up here again. That one there. So the climb 330, we want 252 at 110, 263 at 97. So yeah, you're never going to get identical to that. That's obviously an assessment, but that's pretty close. There's no massive shift there in heading or speed. So far I'm really I'm impressed. So we'll see how it goes.
So that's 418 on final 101.
Well, it's 418 at runway 0, clear to land.
Gentlemen was 01,
Okay.
418.
So I'll chuck you back up there. One of the things I will do is go to ACARS and we'll get some updated weather for Sydney. Send. See if that works now that we're using a different engine. Kiefer, if you just go back to your channel and just do in the chat /host space my name DJ Sean00, it should work. And I really appreciate that, Kiefer. Thank you so much. I don't seem to be getting any feedback there out of that guy. Alrighty, if we go Avi tab, airport, we can't use chat in that. Y, enter, Kingston Smith next. No weather information available. That's interesting now that I'm using that and it can't find any weather available for Sydney. And that is not getting any weather for Sydney. So that is something I've noticed from not using X-Plane built-in weather, is I can't get weather reports. Okay. That's okay. That's not a big showstopper.
Brisbane Centre, good evening. Contact is taxi at Brisbane for
Checklist.
101 and the VATSIM.
Guys, that I saw that the bot put up some commands. Can someone do me an ! meta space Yankee Sierra Yankee to give me the weather for Sydney, please?
The Hugo 5 departure runway 01, up to 6,000, score 4131.
Qantas 537, runway 01, Hugo 5, has flight to Sydney.
Stevie, can you do ! meta, like the thing says, and then space Yankee Sierra Yankee, so YSSY, please.
Handset 81 vacated on Alpha, requesting taxi to Coco.
Thank you, sir. So, Sydney terminal information.
81 22 taxi to the bay.
Jesus, so 0530, so about 20 minutes ago, 250 at 25 knots, gusting 35 knots. Good visibility, showers of rain, few at 3,000, scattered at 5,000, broken at 11,000, temperature 16, dew point 05, QNH 1009. Yeah, right. Okay, so there is, yeah, it seems like we're going to be in for some fun in Sydney tonight, or today. What was it, 1009? 1009. Chuck 1009 over on the FO, who's doing sweet F all. Over here. What information is on the wheel? Kiefer, this is a little checklist. It's just a little of the main important stuff that could have a fairly large impact on the safety of the flight. 1,000 to go, check. So it's just a little run through that the captain could quickly go through just to make sure, you know, when he's getting on the runway, the transponders on, the strobe lights are on, landing lights are on, after takeoff, descent, approach and landing. It's just the checklist that we use up on the dash there is the company issued checklist. It's the one that the company wants us to use, but this is just a quick one to make sure that the big ticket items are also done. It's just another step.
Taxi to the gate, 418.
Doesn't have to be used, but a lot of pilots use it just to provide another level of cautionary and checks to ensure that everything's done properly. Oh, another weather infusion. There we go, and we're approaching 38,000 feet.
What a 620 at start clearance.
There we go, VNAV path, and we're now going to FMC speed, and it'll speed us up to 0.78, there's our mark there, and then we'll see the engine start throttling back, and we'll maintain 0.78. 28 minutes in the flight so far. And there we go, 263 to 124 knots from the right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of them, mate. There's more when we come into land, and depending on which landing or which approach we're doing, there's a whole bunch of rules around that. And that's the stuff I need to refresh. One of the things is obviously you can hear ATC on at the moment. This is VATSIM.
537, runway 01, please for takeoff.
So there is VATSIM is where pilots can fly in controlled airspace. People can control them like what's happening now. I can see other pilots.
Information.
Stand by.
Current, the changes winds 250, 25 knots, gust 35 knots, QH1009.
Okay, we've got that.
Delta.
Okay, so the wind's dying off a little bit. So what I want to try is Pilot Edge, which is only on the west-hand side of the United States at the moment, but you've got to pay to use it, but you get real controllers, and you've got to get real ratings and be endorsed and all that sort of stuff. And it uses an updated client, it's got high-quality models to use, and you see a lot of streamers in the United States doing it during their prime time. The problem is, though, it's only from about... It finishes, they wind up operations at 11 PM their time, which is almost now, I think. It won't be too far. I think in 8 minutes they shut down, so they close at 11 PM at night, which is a shame. And I think you pay about $20 a month for it, and that goes to obviously paying controllers and all that sort of stuff. It's a good way for them to bone up and keep current. And it's a great way for guys like us to actually talk to real controllers and learn the real lingo. The problem is, though, obviously it's in the United States, it's on the west coast only, and you've got to deal with their time zone. So I think by the time I get up at like 7 or 8 in the morning, it's already like 2 PM their time. So I've really only got 7 or 9 hours to use it before they log off. But I signed up today. I'm on their 2-week free trial. I got connected and did a little bit of a test, and it's working. So one thing I just need to do is wrap my head around the United States procedures, because they are slightly different to Australian ones. So I just need to do some reading maybe tonight about flying in the US. And I might join Milo and we'll do some flying in the United States. That could be fun.
Qantas 537, Senate identified climb to flight level 380.
Level 380.
So as you can see here, guys, we're maintaining just slightly over 0.78, and the power is throttled back. We're now at the cruise phase of the flight. What do we want to do? We want to 1, 1, 2, 1 on you, flick you up, down you go. So the magenta line's obviously the line we're going to take with our waypoints. That T/D is our top of descent, so without putting our arrival in, which we haven't done yet because ATC hasn't given it to us yet, it's calculating a top of descent just after Meehan there, of a 3 degrees slope at idle power is how it calculates that. But with wind like this, we might have a bit of power on because we're going to have a greatly reduced speed over the ground. It's funny, and I'm talking a bit, guys, hopefully you can still hear me, but I see a lot of pilots that I watch streaming and that sort of thing, where they get a really high wind like this, but a tailwind, so it's pushing them along even faster, and they're loving it because they're doing 500 knots across the ground, happy days. But they get to top of descent, and the aircraft goes, okay, 3 degrees idle thrust, and they keep getting higher and higher and higher on their descent because with the wind pushing them from behind, the aircraft's not compensating because they haven't put any of their descent winds in. So it's really important to put your descent winds in when you're putting it on the forecast page like we have, so the box knows what sort of wind you've got and can calculate that approach a little bit better. I've always felt safe in a plane, but seeing you go through all this, just want to say thank you for keeping us all safe in the air. No worries, Kiefer, you're very welcome, buddy. Look at that terrain down there. things, little tidbits about the aircraft that you see, that you find.
Brisbane Center, hello again. Juliet Echo Foxtrot is a Caravan 65 POB on the ground at Bundaberg, taxiing 122 for Wollongong by Castle.
Juliet Echo Foxtrot, just confirm the aircraft type for me.
Juliet Echo Foxtrot type Cessna Caravan 406.
Oh, that's good, Keith. Yeah,
Juliet Echo Foxtrot, now reported
I prefer the window seat. That way you got no one trying to get over the top of you. Just playing with these little switches here.
4161 Juliet.
They tell us how many volts we're getting through and amps we're getting through from the different power sources. So ground power we've got nothing on, but generator 1, which is the left-hand engine, is producing 116 volts and 57.2 amps. There's DC, oh obviously AC, you got DC over here. APU is off, so Gen 2 is going to be much the same.
1218 on the gate, leaving the ground. Thank you for ATC service. See you next time. Cheers.
Quarters 418.
This little switch here, just a little tidbit for you, Kiefer. This switch turns the ovens off in the galley and other power to the galley. So if you have an oven fire or something like that, the crew would tell us and we'd turn this cabin utility switch off. The IFE and passenger seat entertainment is that switch just there. So those two are pretty important depending on what's going on in the cabin. We've got our anti-ice here, so we've got wing anti-ice, and then we've got the engine anti-ice. The air conditioning and pressure, the air conditioning and air panel here. There's a lot of amps here. The aircraft has consumes a lot of power for different onboard systems. Got our pressurization panel section here about what we're pressurized at. We've got our packs and recirc fans, so recirculating air throughout the cabin and the flight deck. These switches here provide power, air from the engines to the air conditioning packs that air condition it and then provide it into the cabin. These guys just here are our temperatures, so for you, when you call up the hostie and say, oh, it's bloody freezing here, she'll come in here and tell us, and depending whether you're in the front or the back, we might grab these knobs and just rotate them around like that a little bit. Getting there. How much oxygen does this aircraft hold? So we've got our crew oxygen levels up here times it's PSI times 100. So it's about 1200 PSI in the crew oxygen tanks here at the moment for these guys. Can't pull those out, that'd be cool. Sorry, Keith, me leaning all the way back over there to get and have a look at over there is a bit far for me. Oh, there goes the weather injection. There we go. Got our radio panel here, all the different volume knobs and knockers here. So that's it. This first row here is our mics, and this is our headset volumes. This row of knobs here. So I'm listening. So my FO is listening to COM 2. I'm listening to COM 1. That's your secondary frequency there, and your primary frequency here. So the center control is 133, which is what we're on now. It's all good, buddy. So we're probably get our clearance by the time we get past Admar here. Probably around here he'll give us the clearance for our arrival. We'll chuck it into the box here, and then we'll plan for the approach, and I'll brief the approach. Oh, this flight's not that long. I think it was about an hour and 18 minutes. And we're already 40 minutes into it now, so I dare say we've probably got about another 30 or so minutes, and then we'll be on the ground. Pretty short flight, this one. The fuel temp's getting cold. It's about minus 35 degrees. This is us. This is us. Go ahead for velocity 524.
Velocity 524, please. The Bori 8 Alpha arrival. Runway 25, maintain final 380.
Bori 8 Alpha for 25. You sure it's not the Papa? Copy the Bori 8 Alpha arrival for runway 25, maintain flight level 380, velocity 524. Zach is my control. This Twitch chat's... No, the Twitch chat's not, buddy. It's just something I brought into... It's just a Chrome window, as you can see at the top there, and it's been brought in with a plugin called Move VR, which is just here. Go there. Alrighty, so I dare say that our controller has got that wrong.
Cleared Wollongong by Casper climb route climb flight level 210.
Charts, Sydney, 48, doesn't take us to 25. Center velocity 524. No, this is not AI talking to me, this is another a real person. Center 524, just confirm it was the Bori 8 Alpha arrival, which will take us to 34 left or 34 right. Do we want the Papa for runway 25, velocity 524?
Velocity 524, stand by, let me have a look at the chart.
Velocity 524. Must hate pilots like that.
Quite a 620 approaching flight level 250.
No, Kiefer, this is a person on their computer with a controller scope controlling all the other aircraft. So he's a real person.
620 descend to 9,000, H1012.
9,000, 1012, 620.
I'm probably just pissed off the controller. But I'm pretty confident that I'm right. Because the Bori 8 Alpha, which he's given us...
Velocity 524, no, it's definitely the 8 Alpha arrival. Expect radar vectors from Gentle, basically.
Okay, copy vectors from Gentle, my apologies, velocity 524. Alright, we'll do that. Yeah, righto. It's an overdrop but doesn't hog system resources. Yeah. So, do you have time to tell us a crazy... Oh no, there's a knob in the way. A crazy flight story. Oh. Let me see if I've got time after I do this approach. I'll get this approach plugged in and then we'll go. Alright, so it's the Bori 8 Alpha arrival for the runway, what's he want? I'm gonna have to get the other chart program up. No, we don't want that one, we want to go back here, we want to go charts, checklist. Zoom you in.
Velocity 527, good afternoon. It was reaching
Close
clearance
that.
for the Gold.
That one. Move VR. Chucky there. Where is my charts? Navigraph charts.
Velocity 527, g'day, stand right.
Chuck you over there. You can become my UFO. There we go. Okay, so
Velocity 527, Gold Coast. To the Gold Coast, track 5, Sydney 1, departure runway 25. I'm initially 5,000, score 4125.
taxi is going to be that one there. You approach
To the Gold Coast, fire Sydney 1 departure, runway 25.
the ILS for 25.
4125, velocity 527.
ILS or localizer would go the ILS. No, that's GLS. We want ILS. That one there. Do I see ILS for 25 there? ILS for 25, there we go. Execute legs. Ori Burlow to Jelly. And from Jelly we are going to not go there, we're going to go there, zoom you in. Sorry guys, let me plug all this stuff in and then I will talk through it post that. Okay, so what's this on the star? Ori 8 Alpha. Yeah, I thought we were missing waypoints. So, this is why you always do your checks, guys, because we are missing some waypoints here. Bori Becklow. Oh no, we've got it. Bori Becklow. Barrow. No, we've got Dollar. Dunlop. Erden. What approach have I got here? The 8 Papa, no. The 8 Alpha, that's what I wanted. That one is the wrong one. I was going to say that looked different. Okay, so this is looking a bit better. So Bori, yep, Becklow, yep, which is 9,000, no, 8,000 or below. It's got 8,000 or above. No, it's 8,000 or above. Burlow, 9,000 or below. Olives, yes. Jelly, no. Gentle, we're missing one. J-E-N-T-L, was it? Yeah. T-L goes there. Execute. So if we go to step you through, there we go, that's perfect. Yep. And to 3,000, and I'm not going to join those up on purpose because we don't want to do that. Okay, so we took off with a 0 fuel weight today of 55.1. Now since we're in the land with 4.9 on that, so that's 60 even. So we're going to put the weight of 60 in here. Oh, come on Sim, get it together. 135, so it's 135 plus 5, 140, 109.7. 097 242 242 whatever breaks 2. Zero fuel weight, no, zero fuel weight, a 270. Climb to 3,000, attracted by ATC. Alrighty. What we'll do, guys, is I'll do a very quick should be working. I'll do a very quick approach brief. So, okay, so we've been given the Bori 8 Alpha arrival for runway 25 for the ILS. So the Bori 8 Alpha arrival is the RNAV arrival here, which is
620
that's interesting.
7,000.
And the volume doesn't allow me to adjust it at all.
Velocity 524, when ready, descend at flight level 250.
250, velocity 524. 250. 250 set. Okay. Oh, that's what we want. Okay, so we've been given the Bori 8 Alpha arrival, which is chart 10-2 effective the 24th of May, which has us going from Bori to Becklow at or above 8,000. Becklow at or above 8,000 we've got set. From Becklow we then go to Burlow at or below 9,000, which we've got set there. Then we're on to Olives, which we've got set there. And then we got to Gentle, which we've got there. And then we expect vectors for around to runway 25 for the ILS. Which is why I haven't connected those up, which will give us a nice little gap there. We'll get vectors here for the ILS approaches, course 242, which we've got set there, 242, 242 there. The ILS is 1097, which we've got set there as the primary. I've got the VOR 1121 set on the primary for VOR 2, and I've got that active here, which we haven't been able to pick up just yet. It's an auto brakes 2 landing. Should we cock it up and go back up, the missed approach is track 242, so runway heading, climb to 3,000 feet, all directed by ATC. Looking at the lower safe, anywhere in Sydney, the lower safe is 2,700 feet, so as we're at 3,000 feet, we're out of danger. So we'll be coming into runway 25, which is this guy just here. We won't be off on Delta, Charlie or Bravo. We might be off on 3-4, which we can just go around onto Golf. Failing that, we'll jump off on Alpha. Failing that, we'll jump off on Yankee. Failing that, we'll jump off on Hotel, Hotel here. And failing that, we'll drop off on Golf. If we don't get off on Golf, we're going to go for a bit of a swim in the lake. Alrighty, from that point, it's then taxi via Golf back to the bay, which we've just got here. Left-hand seat landing, obviously, for this one. It's not shared co-pilot. I'll have terrain my side, weather your side. The wind does pose a problem, so when we get closer to Sydney, the seatbelt sign might come on a little bit earlier than we would normally have it. And I will brief the passengers that they will probably be in for a bit of a bumpy ride once we get down there. Alrighty.
Brisbane Centre,
50 is set here, which is what we want. Does anyone on the stream have any questions about the arrival brief?
Mike Tango Centre. Back there, clear the rivet. Number 2 arrival. Runway 25. Correction, rivet 3 arrival.
Okay, lovely. Very good. Can someone do an exclamation mark meta space Sydney for me? YSSY, please.
As I said, Honda 620 approaching 7,000. 4,000 Honda 620.
So in 4 minutes. Kiefer or anyone, is someone able to do an exclamation mark meta space YSSY for me, please? For Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee. Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee, so YSSY. But the first part of that was right, Kiefer. The meta part was right. Just Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, meta spelt right the first time. METAR. Getting there, almost. There we go, thank you sir. 270, so 270, 27 gusting 42. Jeez, it's gone back up. A few clouds scattered. Okay. I did it, wow. Alrighty, let's do a quick, we'll do a very quick briefing for the passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, your captain speaking. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you aboard Virgin Australia Flight 524 from the Gold Coast down to Sydney. We are approaching our top of descent. It's now only 2 to 3 minutes away, and we'll shortly be departing at 38,000 feet. The weather for our arrival isn't looking splendid. We've got fairly gusty conditions down there in Sydney at the moment, ranging from anywhere between about 50 kilometres up to about 80 to 90 kilometres per hour. So we do expect a few bumps on the lower level as we come in and approach Sydney. There's good visibility down there. There's some few clouds moving through and a wind out of the west. Current temperature on the ground in Sydney is 16 degrees. The box has us putting you down there at about quarter to the hour, and we'll have you on the bay shortly after that. On behalf of all of us here at Virgin Australia, I'd like to thank you for choosing to fly us to Sydney, and we trust you've had a pleasant flight. Thank you and good afternoon. Alrighty, I'm back with you guys.
Alrighty,
let's do the descent checklist. This is cool, I'm part of a collector. Yeah, Kiefer, absolutely. I will probably get you to do the weather one more time when we get really close, just to make sure I've got the right Q&H set. Okay, descent checklist, pressurization, landing altitude is 50 feet, is set, recall is checked. Oh! For shizzle! For shizzle TTV, thank you so much for the sub, buddy. Welcome to the channel. Please, as always, ask any questions you like. If you jump on Discord, you'll get a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And thanks for supporting me, buddy. I really do appreciate it. Auto brake is level 2. Landing data, we've got VREF of 1, so flaps 40 at 135. We'll take 140 down the approach, and the approach, the minimum is 270 feet on the barrow we've got set, and the approach briefing is completed. Descent checklist is complete. And you asked me, why are we doing the descent checklist now, Sean? We're not descending. We very soon will be. Oh. Come on, weather. There we go. Oh, we've got, come on, next plane. We've got some traffic there, 5,100 feet below us, so down there somewhere.
Oh. 620 Southers from my 01.
Quarter 620, runway 01, big line.
Runway 01, clear to land, quarter 620.
And there's top of descent, down we go. Close the throttles, back to idle power, and down we go. Sure, during a flight, when do you have your own downtime? Pretty much the cruise there where I was just talking to you guys about, or talking to you, Kiefer, and showing you the flight deck and all the different systems, that's about it now. So now we're just monitoring, we're going to make sure that we don't bust any of the height restrictions that we've got on this approach. So now we start to pick up. Drag required. We don't need drag required anymore, so acknowledge that. So now it kind of gets a little bit busy. So when we get through about 20,000 feet, or maybe about 15,000 feet, depending on how the bumps are going, we'll turn the passenger seatbelt sign on. At about 20,000 feet, we'll tell the crew to prepare for the arrival. So 59 minutes now on the flight. So we've got about another 20 minutes to go now. Maybe 25. So the key for your own knowledge, the green line here, this green half sort of circle curved line, is the point at which we will get to the altitude that we have set here on the altitude indicator. So if I was to lower that, you'd see that line go out. If I was to bring it back in, you'd see the line come up. Yeah, we still haven't picked up the Sydney VOR yet. Alrighty, now we turn direct to Sydney.
To 9,000, Sydney 2NH1009.
A lot of it is Kiefer. It's probably about 70-30 split. So 70% of it will be universal, 30 of it will be airline specific.
Call station, Sydney ground and tower information.
This is us.
Wind 270, 27 gust 42. 2NH1009. Sydney
009, information Romeo. Some sort of mine there or something like that.
Brisbane Centre Pub Mike Tango. Yeah, Pub Mike Tango. Decent enough 1000, QNH1009.
Oh, that is down there.
009 is down the north south. Velocity 54 descends to 10,000, QNH1009.
10,000 on 1009 at velocity 524. Set.
Velocity 527 on 15 to runway 25.
Velocity 5, holding point echo, runway 25.
So velocity 527
Holding point echo, runway 25.
is another aircraft like us, and he's flying from Sydney to the Gold Coast, so he's going back to where we went. Where we came from.
On a 620, welcome to Brisbane, taxi to the bay.
620, thanks. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, 51, taxi to holding point echo, runway 25. Taxi to holding point echo, runway 25.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing. So what I wanted to do, that's controls those, okay. It is, Kiefer. It very much is. Oh, the visibility's that great today, the looks of it. There we go. Still haven't picked up the Sydney VOR 1121. It's very interesting. At this distance, that's 40, so we're only about 60 miles out and we still haven't got the VOR. What can I do? What can I do? Do we have the guide? No, it's not going to happen on that. If we go to airports. AUS doesn't have VOR here, that's all ATC frequencies. Sydney, Australia is on my bucket list. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to visit, mate.
157 holding Nico runway
That's not us. Plane manual. Flight data, custom data, charts, Sydney.
Let's take off runway 25, 2520.
Just Ori, that should have the Sydney VOR in it. That's TSAT. AUS, Directors Tower, SMC. No, maybe this one did will. There you go. Probably did seem to be a bit farther-ish one. 1121. 1121. That's really weird. 60 miles out and can't get the VOR. Seatbelt signs on now.
Bravo Tango D stands 6,000.
That's 6,000.
Bravo Tango 10 right heading 070.
forecast, we'll make that 110, execute.
Airtax 551, runway 25, one on runway.
Okay, Apex 551, run of the way 25.
So, Keeper, we've got a speed restriction of, which is a universal thing, of no faster than 250 knots under 10,000 feet, which is what we're slowing up for now. You'll find that most aircraft on their descent will start levelling off around 10 or 11,000 feet to slow down, and then they'll continue the descent.
UPS 526, control at airfield.
Oh, Daz, God knows, that's long gone. That's long gone now. Does that explain why I haven't got the VOR though, Daz? You reckon it's that formula?
1,000 to go.
Actually, that was probably. I wonder if that calls to me. Okay.
Velocity 526, negative.
Well, it was maybe for us, I thought it was.
Velocity 24, descend at 8,000.
8,000. 8,000, velocity 524. 8,000 set. Not the slightest.
Velocity 527, zero level.
Hello, 527.
So, landing lights on under 10.
Velocity
And,
527, verify level past it.
We get off the standard altimeter.
That's
And we slow to 250. That's all standard. All
Velocity
universal.
527, thanks, you are identified. On to 5,000 still, just to the traffic about.
Well, the transition height's not that universal, but
5,000, 527. And velocity 527.
there's velocity 527 you can hear. Oh, he was just there. There he is.
Right, heading 340.
That's velocity 527 you can hear.
Heading 340.
That diamond just there.
527.
Actually, I'm trying to remember myself without Googling. Yeah, I can't remember, mate. Going through a big cloud here. I'm pretty sure we'll be okay, but let's just do it anyway. We'll just put a little bit of engine anti-ice on just while we're here. So, light blue is the valve in motion. When it goes out, that means the valve is in the fully open or closed position. With the lights on, it's in the fully open position. So what we're doing is we're going through a bit of cloud which will contain moisture obviously, and the temperature is under 10 degrees. So what we do is we put the engine start switches to continuous, and then we turn the engine anti-ice on.
1,000 to go.
There's a nice silver metal ring around the front of the engines, and that heats up with air from the engines. And the reason why we put these to continuous is we get a large build-up of ice around the cowling of the engine, and then that heat, obviously the cowling heats up, the ice separates, gets sucked into the engine. We don't want to run the risk of the flame or the spark in the engine being the ignition sequence being flamed out and having an engine flame out. So in the event that a large chunk of ice goes through the engine, we've got these on continuous. The igniters are continually firing, and then if the engine does flame out, it should reignite straight away. That's the theory behind doing that.
Runway 25, take off.
And now the outside air temperature is above 10 degrees, so we can cancel that, turn the engine anti-ice off, and the start switches go back to auto. Oh, here comes this wind.
C527, continue on the final 390.
Yeah, Kiefer, it's the real deal. You've got to be careful. There's going to be absolutely no chance of that happening for us. But it's just standard operating practice. Yeah, Daz, not too bad. Getting some drop in frames at the moment. I'm not happy about it. I feel like the weather engine is using some more power than I would want it to. 6,000 velocity 524. We might slow up to 2.
Velocity 524 at gentle, turn left heading 070.
Air gentle left 070, velocity 524.
Qantas 537.
070.
Velocity 5.
So from
5,000.
gentle, we're going to turn left on heading
Heading
mode.
340.
The weather engine is what gets the real world weather and it sends it to the sim to be represented out like you see here. Oh, we're getting thrown around a little bit now. We're going to see some of that
Again,
wings.
altitude, velocity 527.
Velocity 527, climb to flight level 390.
Yeah, we're getting thrown around a little bit now.
390, heading 340, velocity 527.
Yeah,
Qantas 537.
must be in some cloud.
Torrey 8 Alpha arrival, runway 25.
Okay, heading mode, left 070.
48 for runway 25, main level
1,000 to go.
380.
1,000 to level.
Correction, 380 will, just one moment.
Mike Tango, turn left at 340. 340.
Qantas 537, mate.
This is gonna be an interesting approach.
Look at the descent about 15 miles.
I can feel it already.
And,
We,
8 Alpha,
This is going to be, we're going to have a work cut out for us on this
Qantas
approach.
537 when ready, descend to flight level 250.
descent flight level 250, Qantas 537.
We might slow up a little bit more here too, actually.
527 is 180 miles to the south of Banda. Turn right.
So we want to be there at
Banda,
3,000,
resume
but we're
navigation.
at 6,000, so we're going to slow up because we're going to anticipate he's going to clear us to 3,000 and we're going to see if we can make it.
5,000 feet.
Airpac 551
Yes.
today identified, climb to flight level 360.
That's for 5,000 feet warning for the crew. But we're at 6,000 now, but I don't want to forget, so we'll just do it now. Kiefer, can you give me another METAR for Sydney, please?
And band, send 3,000 Papa. Confirming direct band of velocity 527.
Velocity 527,
Roger, direct band of climbing 0.
Thank you, gusting 42 knots, QNH 1009. Thanks, buddy.
Mike Tango, turn left heading 310.
I think Zach's forgotten about us, that controller.
Velocity 524, descend to 4,000.
4,000, velocity 524. There's 4,000 set. Hopefully we punch out of this cloud. What did we have cloud? We had cloud at 4,000 feet, scattered at 6,000 feet, broken. Okay, so we're in the scattered cloud at the moment at 6,000 feet. So we should bust out of this cloud and hit more cloud at 4,000 feet. There we go, let's put some brakes out. Down you go, buddy.
Qantas 537, left flight level 380, for flight level 250.
Qantas 537.
This is the speed brakes. We've got some speed brakes out now on the aircraft, Kiefer, which are flaps on the side, on the top of the wings. You might have seen when you've been flying, and they come up off the wing. So we're 1,100 feet up high on profile here.
Mike Tango, lane 280, make a pilot intercept, clear AUS, runway 25, report established.
He's brought us out because there's a guy coming in here. So we're going to slot in behind this guy.
1,000 to go.
1,000 to level. Still got no visibility, still in cloud.
Velocity 524, right heading 160.
Right heading 160, velocity 524. 60 set. We'll jump off those now. We'll go flaps 1. Oh, that wind's cool. Telling us to force us to go up.
524, continue the right turn in 230.
230, we can jump on the localizer here if you like, velocity 524.
524, thanks. Intercept the localizer, runway 25, report established.
Copy, intercept the localizer, we'll call you established, velocity 524. There we go, so one less call. Okay, there's 4,000.
Established LS25 flag.
Okay, we want to slow up a bit more because we're coming up behind this guy. He's
Runway
about
Tango,
6 miles in front of
runway
us.
25, continue approach, in contact with an aircraft that's at the holding point for 34 left.
Okay, we've got the ILS approach on standby, the localizer, yep. There's one, we'll go down here. Oh, there we go. Welcome to the water, guys. You are lock. Oh, look at that wind. Yeehaw. Go flaps 5. He's cleared us for the approach checklist. Altimeters 1009, 1009, 1009, check. Approach checklist complete.
Mike Tango, if you can get the speed up till 5 miles, that'd be appreciated. You've got a 737 following on a
6 miles?
7 mile.
7 mile.
I'll pick the speed up.
And velocity 524 established.
Velocity 524, free ILS, runway 25.
Fit ILS for 25, velocity 524.
Mike Tango, runway 25, clear on wind.
Well, I got a glide slope yet, 1097, 1097. We should have a glide slope there. Maybe we're just a bit far out still.
Chile Aircraft Shot, just test Brisbane request
Okay, we've cleared us for the approach, so we'll go down to 3.
Juliet Aircraft Foxtrot, possible 220.
220, correction Juliet.
Yeah, the plane's on autopilot at the moment, mate. You can see how much the autopilot is fighting the wind here. Go flaps 10.
Velocity 54, keep the speed back, if you can, to the minimum approach speed. You're following a citation, 8 miles.
Yeah, copy. We'll go to approach speed now, velocity 524. Yeehaw, look at that. We're getting thrown around something fierce. Okay, he's told us we need to go to approach speed, so gear down. All the lights. We'll go flaps 15. Yeehaw. So what do we want? It was 140, so it's 135 plus 5 is 140. There's 3,000. Still no glide slope here on runway 25. I feel like it's missing here in X-plane, but that's okay. Flaps 25. I'll take over the plane once we're fully established, Kiefer, so about another minute or two.
Correction 1009.
Down to
Flaps 30.
And we have information extra.
Easy plane, easy aeroplane. Okay, well, that's it. That's flaps 40, landing checklist. Interstarts, which is our continuous speed brake, is now armed. Landing gear is down and 3 green. Flaps is 40, green light. Landing checklist complete. Okay, guys, I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm just going to take over the flying of the aircraft now. Whoa. We're going to go plus 5. We're going to go plus 10 on that. Down we go. So no glide slope. Oh well, we'll just do it. Hand flight. We've got the guy ahead of us. He's now about 8 miles in front of us. That's okay. We've got heaps of room now. There's the runway straight out ahead of us. Whoa. Yeehaw.
2500.
Flight director's off. They're just annoying me. Whoa. Okay, that's bad. This is, we've definitely got our work cut out for us coming into Sydney today. Okay, we've got a couple of reds there and a couple of whites. Yeah, absolutely, Kiefer. This is it's obviously a very gusty day here in Sydney. Yeah. Oh, down you go.
I'm like Tango, clear 25 on Bravo for...
Velocity 524, runway 25, clear to land.
Clear to land, velocity 524. Okay, we've been cleared to land, everyone.
Mike Tango, turn right on Golf, taxi GA Park.
Probably right on the Golf and down the GA Park.
Oh. Oh. God, we're going slow. We're only doing 114 knots ground speed. We've got a 40 to 30 knot headwind. Oh, why is my Sydney texture so blurry around here? I've got these on high resolution. Maybe I fucked those up. Normally my scenery is a lot more, not blurrier like that. Oh. Oh, that was a full deflection, that one. Hit the limit of the yoke then.
1,000.
1,000.
1,000 feet, stabilized.
Oh. Come on, aeroplane. Alrighty, I'll take over the throttles now. Yeah, the passengers would definitely be feeling this. Oh. Easy. Oh.
400.
Get a little bit high here.
400.
There we go. Back on approach. Oh.
300. Approaching minimums.
That was a good one. Oh.
Minimum 200.
Continue.
All stations, Brisbane Centre will be closing approximately 5 minutes.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Touchdown. Speed brake up. Reverser, reverser. A bit left there at the end. There we go. Oh, my hands were sweating. And we're off here on, what is this? Oh yeah, we got before the crossing. Beautiful.
Velocity 524,
Copy to the bay, velocity 524. Oh dear. You on, you off, you off, you off, you off. You off, you off, you off. It's the hardest I've had to work on approach for a little while. Okay, what do we want? You off, you off. No, we'll go down to the next one. APU. You go off. APU start. Oh, sweaty hands on that one. A little bit left there at the very end. I should have gone out to the right a little bit and kicked it round. Oh well. Wasn't happy with the touchdown. What did we land at? 302 feet. Yeah, that's fine. Me, buddy. I'm controlling it. I'm controlling it with the controllers. I'm steering it. We want the APU. Sorry, taxi light off. We'll go into the bay just here. Bay, what are we? Whatever this bay is. I think this is about 36 or something. Hey guys. Alrighty, on the clock, APU on the bus. Okay, shutting down. What was that? ET, an hour and 30 exactly. Off. Seatbelt sign off, anti-collision light off. Should be steady. You're on last flight, you go off. Off. You're off. Unlock. There we go. Welcome to Sydney, everyone. What fuel did we use there? 1.78 per side. Okay. Oh dear. Let's we'll just jump out of VR, guys. Give me 1 sec. Whew, there we go. Alrighty. Disable that one and turn the game back on. There we go. Let's just jump out of the aircraft. Still there. Still one piece. Yep. Still in one piece. Go. So this is Sydney, for those of you who are unfamiliar. I don't know why my Sydney scenery has gone to shit. I've got high quality Sydney and surround, so I'll have a look at that for the next one. But that's Sydney Airport just here. One of the largest airports in the it has one of the longest runways in the world. It was actually considered an alternate site for the shuttle on this side of the world. If the shuttle got into trouble, the shuttle could land here because the runway was long enough. Little fact there for you guys. The city of Sydney is back over here. It's quite a distance from the airport as well. Alrighty guys, well that concludes the flight for today. I've spent about 45 hours streaming today, so I think it's probably got me done. I might do a little bit of DCS later on tonight, but I think I should probably log off now and go spend some time with my dogs. So a big shout out to Kiefer, thank you so much, and to everyone who was part of the stream today. A special shout out for Jizzle for the sub. Thank you so much for the support, buddy. I really do appreciate it. Wow, the aircraft's rocking over the wind. Brisbane Centre is closing, and I can see the actual aircraft shifting in the wind, which the real 737 will do. Which is another really good thing, which is why I like X-Plane. But anyway, guys, until next time, thank you so much, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye for now.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what fuck this. I'm fuck out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.